Hey guys, welcome back to Carib 21 Network. So it's a very busy week. A lot of stuff is happening in the Caribbean, but I have some breaking news coming out of the United Nations General Assembly. And this breaking news is that 165 countries voted against the United States embargo on Cuba. And this is a massive deal. This is something that I've been waiting for my entire life. And I hope that this will go through. So this is coming out of the United Nations General Assembly.
The Assembly will now take a decision on draft resolution A/80/L6 entitled Necessity of Ending the Economic, Commercial and Financial Embargo imposed by the United States of America against Cuba. Recorded vote has been requested. We shall now begin the voting process. Those in favor of draft resolution A/80/L6, please signify. Okay. Those against? Abstentions?
The Assembly is now voting on draft resolution A/80/L6 entitled Necessity of Ending the Economic, Commercial and Financial Embargo imposed by the United States of America against Cuba. Will all delegations confirm that the votes are accurately reflected on the screen? The voting has been completed. Please lock the machine.
The result of the vote is as follows. In favor 165, against 7, abstention 12. Draft resolution A/80/L6 is adopted.
So that's the breaking news coming out of the United Nations General Assembly. 165 countries voted against the embargo, the U.S. embargo on Cuba. And this embargo has been the longest embargo in existence, the longest embargo on the people of Cuba. And I never thought that I would live to see this day. I don't know the next step, but I just hope that this is something that can be fast-tracked, because the people of Cuba have suffered too much just because the American government for over 60 years don't agree with that government. The people have suffered. Like, you're not, Fidel Castro has gone, Raúl Castro not there anymore. And the people of Cuba are still suffering just because of this embargo. And everybody knows that once America put an embargo, the European Union is going to abide with that embargo. Canada is going to abide with that embargo. So the people of Cuba have been starved, have been suffocated for decades. And for people who know me, Cuba is my absolute favorite country in the world that I've ever visited. Cuba is the most beautiful country in the world, my opinion. And this is coming from someone, a Jamaican. I know Jamaican, we think that our country is more beautiful than any other country in the world. But when you go to Cuba, like I've stood on a beach in Cuba, and I'm like, this just feel like I'm standing in a picture. That is how beautiful Cuba is to me. And going to Cuba and feel like, you know, Back to the Future, like you're going back in time into the 1960s, and you see how they renovate those cars, and those cars are like looking brand new cars from 1960, 1959 cars, like Chevy, some of the first Ford cars ever made. And the people of Cuba, I know we talk about in the Caribbean that how Caribbean people, we are warm and loving and welcome, but the people of Cuba, some of the nicest people that I've ever met in my entire life. So this is really some good news for me. Like this this is, man, this is like, as I said, I never thought that I would ever live to see the day when Cuba will be free from this embargo. And I hope, as I said, I don't know the next step. And this is just some breaking news coming out from the United Nations General Assembly. And as soon as I get some more information, I'll be on top of this, because the people of Cuba deserve more. Like, the people of Cuba have been suffering for too long. And one of the things, when you hear second-hand information on Cuba, it's easy to turn up your nose and say, look, I'm not going to that country. I do not want to spend my vacation in that country. I don't want to support a country, a dictator country, and all of that type of stuff. But when you go there and you interact with the people, some of the most intelligent people in the world, almost everybody in that country speaks 2 languages. And it is just amazing. And it's mind-boggling to me, because Cuba is the only country that has ever faced a sanction, an embargo, and did not break out into chaos. We have seen what happened in Haiti. We see that happening all across Africa, a lot of countries that were sanctioned in Africa. But Cuba, one of the safest countries in the world. Like, when we went there, we went all over and never felt like we were in any danger or anything like that. So, as I said, this is some big news coming out of the United Nations General Assembly. And I'm just really hoping that, because Cuba has a lot to offer. And I know when Obama was in office and Obama started increasing relationship with Cuba, and Americans were able to go to Cuba for certain trips, certain educational trips. And the plan was to slowly open Cuba and lift the embargo. And then when Donald Trump came in on his first administration, he reversed everything that President Obama did. So I'm just hoping that this thing will just go through and the people of Cuba can get to breathe. Because the thing is, when you look at what is going on and people talk about dictatorship, and we look at some of the countries that the Americans have relationship with, countries that women can't vote, women can't drive, women can't do a lot of stuff. In Cuba, women can do everything. I was surprised when we went to Cuba years ago, and we even saw there was like a LGBTQ march in Cuba. And there are countries that America is doing business with that you, like, if you are a part of that community in those countries, your life is gone. And so for the picture to be painted of this savage country, like this dictatorship, because their type of leadership is different. Even though America is having doing business with China, Qatar, like all these other countries, who you could argue that they have worse type of government in those countries, but Cuba remained the only country in the world for over 60 years with this embargo. So as I said, guys, breaking news coming out of the United Nations General Assembly. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. What do you think? Just take a look at the countries that voted against, and take a look at the country that abstained from voting, and just leave your comments in the comment section. Let me know, what do you think about this news? And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing content. And remember, peace. I'm out.